guys, and welcome back here to the DevRam, and today we're going to be carrying on our series, and today is the final episode of our UI. And if you guys have been following everything that we did so far, you should have something similar to this with a bunch of UI options that you can use on your games in here. So the thing that we're doing today is we're just going to wrap up with this list, and then I'm going to show you how to add this dynamically into your into your windows. But anyway, so the first thing we need to do here is that, if you guys remember, this UI, the one we try to follow, has a very settle box in here. So what we're going to do here is that we're just going to export this. Just delete this. We're going to select this guy. I am gonna export. I'm gonna go back to downloads, UI. I'm gonna go back to where is it? That's gonna be icons, inputs. Maybe it's a list item, slotting icon. That's the one. So I'm just gonna call this T background. Let's put background 3. That's fine. Cool. Now that we have that, let's go back to here. Let's go back to slot icons. I am gonna get this one we have just created. The slot icon. I'm just gonna drag and drop this guy right here. Alright. By the way, those icons in here, I'm just gonna move them to the icons folder. Alright? Just so they're in the right folder. Cool. The next thing that we gotta do is we gotta find the structure, which is basically this one. And let's add another one called background 03, and this is going to be a texture 2D, and that's it. Oh, texture 2D. Nice. Let's save, and let's save all. Now, next thing we're gonna do is we gotta go back to UI settings, and on the slot item icon here, I'm just gonna select this, and I am gonna put it on here, right? Save. Make sure you save all. Cool. Now what you gotta do here, let's go back to the list item, let's compile, let's throw an error. That's because that's the whole Unreal Engine error thing that we always have. Let me just restart engine here quickly. This is because I say this before, I just lost the references. Anyway, so let's open up everything. Hopefully we haven't lost anything. It's good. Let's just make sure we got our icon. It's here. Background, list title. Where is it? Slot icon. There we go. Background 3. Cool. Nice. So let's just press play to make sure everything is on place. Yeah, cool, nice. Now I'm gonna edit this blueprint here, the one with the icon, right? In here, where we set the background, let me just put this stuff apart. I'm gonna create a new variable called invert, or actually called use soft border, right? Or something like this. Make sure it's public, and in here we're gonna select, and we're gonna use the use soft border. Make sure it's public, and you make sure you also expose on expose on spawn, not cinematics. We don't care about this variable cinematics. Now we're gonna make sure the if it's true, we're gonna set to this one. If it's false, we set to the first one. Make sure by default is false. And now if you go back to our our item here, and we're gonna set this to true, it's using a different border already. So if I press play, oh yeah, I won't be able to see. That's because I need to WP list. I need to bring this list item right here. I'm gonna put it like that, and let's see how does it look like in the UI. Actually, it does look cool. Doesn't look too bad, even with the icon oversized a little bit. It does look quite cool. It has like a nice feeling to this. Now, the last thing I want to do here is just because right now you guys already have the base to create your own UI and everything. You can use this to create any kind of game. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create another folder on the UI. Alright, and I am going to call this challenge, right? Or actually, let's say just go UI test. Let's go UI test. And I want you guys to do this large window here on your own. So what I'm gonna do here, the only thing that you have that I don't, that you guys don't have, is just this large window here. So I'm gonna ungroup. I'm gonna export the background. I'm gonna export this. Let me just export this to the right place. The home, downloads, UI. And now we're just gonna put the UI test, T, background. And I want you guys to create this similar, you know, like the similar windows in here. It's really easy. Basically, you just have to copy and paste the middle one and just rearrange the UI. But I'm gonna leave so you guys can do this one. Right, and then the next thing that we also, by the way, all these SVG here will be available. So if you have like an Illustrator or something, you should be able to access this and change as you want to update with your colors and stuff. Now, what we're gonna do, the last thing of this tutorial, I just want to make sure that we can load those lists dynamically in here. But first, we need to make sure that our list can change the icon, can change the name, and can change the currency, and can also change this the monetary value here. Right, so what we are going to do in here, and also let me just have a look. Do I have any events on this? What I can also do here, I can wrap with a button, right? I'm gonna make sure this extends everything. There's padding. I want to make sure there's no padding left. Cool. List item, right? Now for the list item, for the style, we want to make sure that we're gonna clear. Make sure it's in the tint color, it's all 0. Here, let's put 0. And the reason why we're doing this, guys, is because if you want to create, like, let's say when a player click on your game item or something you're trying to sell, you can use the button event in here to do stuff. I'm gonna show you what I mean. Right, so first thing we're gonna do here right now is that we're gonna find a dynamic way to change the icon, right? So let's do this. And here, so I'm gonna create the events first, and then after I hook those up in here. So I'm gonna create a custom event. Oh, not that. Custom event API set value icon. I'm gonna copy and paste. I'm gonna call API set value name. Copy and paste. API set value currency, or currency. Now, and then the next one is API set value price. Right. So we need 4 events. First one, icon. Let's get the icon. It's called API set value. It is gonna ask us to set the value. So I'm just gonna promote this to a variable called icon value. Yeah. Right. Make sure it's public. You can also expose this on spawn. And then I can do something like this. Here. And now if you guys compile and save, you can set the default value for this. So let's see a T search. I'm gonna put T search as default. Now it's gonna set the name. So the same thing, we're gonna select here the name. Go back. API set value, which is going to be here the text. So label value public. Let's expose this on spawn. Now the only difference is that sometimes you may want to set the color. So we're gonna create here a branch, and we're gonna pass here update color. So we're gonna make sure that if it's true, API set change color, and then you can also pass the color as a parameter in here. Right, so we got this one ready. Now let's do the same for the currency. That's just the icon, so this one is really easy to do. Get this, set texture. Here, and we're gonna promote this to the currency icon, or icon currency. Let me just find, it's just called T-coin, right? Or let's just call money icon. It's just easy to, money icon. Now I'm gonna compile here. Let's expose these on spawn, and let's just plug this one here. Right, that cool. The last one is just that we need to set up the price. So we're gonna get a quantity, API set value, and then the same thing here. Just gonna put it right there. Promote to a variable called quantity value, and you can plug this one here right here. And just one quick tip here to organize this in a little bit so you guys can read this a little bit better. So as you can see, we start to have a bunch of messy variables all over the place. You can categorize them, so we're gonna basically create one here which is gonna be called inputs, and then we can move this stuff to the input here, so it's easy to see. Right, so the next thing that we gotta do is basically we're just gonna call the API set the currency, API set the icon, API set the name, and also API set the price. Now we just have to do basically the values in here. So let's start with the value price, quantity, the label name. So the label is going to be this. The value icon, which is gonna be basically the icon. And why do we call icon? All right, let me just put this one here. Just the icon value, and here we're gonna basically set the currency. There you go. Now if I compile and save, we need to set some default values. So the first one that we gotta do, icon, the label is gonna be health potion, just example, money, T-coin, or you can use any icon you want, and the quantity is gonna be, I don't know, 500, or quantity or price. I'm just gonna leave as quantity, but you guys can change this to price if you want it. Now we got this in place, which is great. The next thing that we gotta do here is the final part, which is basically how can we add this dynamically right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to my window there. I'm just gonna delete this dummy data because I don't really care about this data. I'm gonna change my scroll box. Yeah, scroll box fine. Cool. Now let's say, for example, you're creating your own UI based on this window and you wanna add some content inside this part. Right, so the easiest way to do this is basically you get a window reference here. Just gonna delete this stuff because I don't need it. And from here, I'm gonna get this scroll box. I'm gonna add content for add child. There you go. Right, but before, I'm gonna just do a for loop. Actually, a for loop. I just wanna find a for loop. There you go. I just want to do a for loop. First index is gonna be a 1. Last index is gonna be 10 or 20, doesn't matter. And then I'm just gonna do this just so it's dummy data so you guys can see what I'm trying to do. Now what I'm gonna do here is for every loop, I'm gonna create a widget, and this is going to be my list. As you can see, we have a bunch of information that we can start here with. And now, on, for example, the label, right? I'm gonna do, let's say, make string array, or make literal string add okay, anyway, I think I'm just gonna do like create it like this. So it's gonna be names. It's gonna create here a string. You don't have to follow this if you don't want. This is just an example of how would you do this. I'm gonna add a couple of names. So Mario, also Mario, another Mario, Super Mario, and Mario. Mario, sure. Right, so now what we can do is that we can get this, we can get random item, just so we have some stuff popping up. We don't care about the icon for now, we don't care about this, and then all you gotta do here is just put this one right there. Now if I press play, I should have a list with random stuff. As you can see, it has a list. We can also change here the currency. For example, actually the currency is, we found a bug here. On the item, the currency is not exposed on spawn. Make sure it also is public. Right, go back to SUI, refresh. I'm gonna create a random number, or actually random integer in range. Let's create something between 100 and 1000. Right. So we got different prices, right? Which is great. And if you guys, for example, want to add like a, I don't know, a dollar sign or something, you can do appending here. So you can do something like this. So we have a dollar sign right now. The next and the last part we gotta do is that we need to add some padding between those tabs. So what you can do here is before you add to the children, you just set padding, and from here you guys should be able to make a margin, and let's add 10 top and 5 bottom. So as you can see, we have some better margin right here. So yeah guys, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to go for this series, and I think right now you guys have a very nice understanding of how to create a cool UI. The last thing you guys would have to do here is basically just create event. So when the user clicks on the button here, you basically will have to create another onClicked, and then you're gonna have to just use that event inside your own blueprint the way you want. But yeah, once again, thank you very much for watching, and I see you guys in the next one.